Why is John Travolta palling around with Putin's cronies in Russia? Moscow. Just as Special Counsel Robert Mueller was wrapping up his 22-month-long investigation of Russia's interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, John Travolta was in Moscow confessing his great love for Russian arts at the Bolshoi Theater, only a few steps away from the Kremlin. Elite members of President Vladimir Putin's court, mostly from the so-called liberal wing, plus propagandists and pop stars posed with the legendary face of Pulp Fiction. Cameras captured, look, when Moscow's liberal elite decide to demonstrate to both domestic and international audiences that they are still tolerant and worth shaking hands with, there are no laws, even the ones they make themselves, that can stop the Kremlin, Pavel Lobkov, a well-known television presenter, told the Daily Beast. There is a common joke. The Oscar-nominated actor came to Moscow last week with his sisters Ellen and Margaret and his daughter Ella. During his visit, just a few weeks ago, Peskov was telling journalists about the Kremlin's efforts to protect Russia from racketeering attacks of the United States. And now Travolta follows a long line of Kremlin-paid Hollywood celebrities attending functions here. The same Federaciya Foundation that famously paid Sharon Stone and Kevin Costner for singing Blueberry Hill with former KGB chief Putin back in 2010 organized Travolta's trip, as well as American singer Michael Bolton's visit to Moscow. While it is unclear how much money the Kremlin has paid Travolta for his participation, there is no question the Hollywood star played his role well. In an exclusive on Wednesday, Travolta held a meeting with Mikhail Fedotov of the Council for Civil Society and Human Rights. They agreed to put Travolta has been a practicing Scientologist since the 1970s, and he is one of the Church's most prized members. It stands to reason, however, according to Olga Bychkova, deputy chief editor of Echo of Moscow, this was not the case. Travolta was not in Moscow as a Scientologist but as a shot-down pilot, a pensioner star, like the Russian citizen Gerard Depardieu. He's been tamed for a fake show. Gallery. John Travolta's life in Pics. Wonderwall.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.